Fuatilia kwanza. Karibia jioni. Usitoke, yani short rudi nao pole pole. Rudi na short pole pole. Zunguko. Ndio sasa tuzunguko. Kama tena. Kana hiyo short, kana hiyo short. Lakini kana wenzetu, kana wenzetu. Kama kuna mmoja kwa. Sana. Majamaa wengine watano. Corona kusema
A very good afternoon to you. We are coming to you live from our communication center here at the Royal Media Services Citizen TV. The pictures on your screens are of Nairobi, and that is the CBD right now. The pictures that you're seeing there are of the Central Business District. This on the third week of anti-government protests, and the day earlier today started with a perceived state of calm. That is in Nairobi CBD, but what we've seen as the day progresses is a contingent of security officers cordoning off roads, as well as engaging protesters within the CBD in tear gas canisters, and of course keeping them at bay. We've also seen a display of coffins on most of those streets within the Nairobi CBD, where protesters continue to protest and mill around town, businesses remaining closed for the better part of the day. This being 2 p.m. now, we still are seeing the presence of security officers in roads leading to State House and feeder roads leading to the CBD, forcing motorists to use alternative routes. Now, the protests are entering their third week, and the protest was sparked by the passage of the Finance Bill 2024. We're keeping a look at what is happening in other parts of the country. Let's cross over to Machakos County, where scenes there are also pretty much what we are seeing in parts of the CBD here in Nairobi, with protesters also blocking parts of the streets there in Machakos County as they protest what they say is a bad state of affairs in the country. This albeit the fact that the president himself bowed to increasing pressure and withdrew the bill, but still, despite the president extending this olive branch, we are seeing such scenes around parts of the country. The pictures on your screen right now are of Waiyaki Way here in Nairobi. Waiyaki Way is the central point between Kangemi and Westlands area of Nairobi, and this is what's happening there. Earlier we saw scenes of protesters hurling stones at security officers who, in retaliation, lobbed tear gas canisters, despite there having been a ruling made against, the use of water cannons as well as rubber bullets against protesters. We are seeing the police under increasing pressure there, where they are trying to keep protesters at bay, and that is what is happening as of now. The Gen Z, of course, has been marshalling support from all Kenyans to show up in solidarity with their cause. And while the unrest may have been sparked by the finance bill, frustrations continue to simmer over the country's economic situation, the country's economic growth, which many feel has failed to keep up with population growth, and the Generation Z now inviting everybody in the country that cares about the state of affairs, particularly the economic state of affairs, to join them and marshal their support and show up in solidarity with their cause. So those are the pictures that we are getting from different parts of the country. Let's listen in.
Anaomba reinforcement huko juu sijui. Nani? Nataka yule boy mwenye anatoka RTV. So, kuna to na je ni kama watu wameweka majeneza katikati ya barabara. Unaona? Pale karibu Jivanji. Wameweka majeneza kando ya barabara. Pale Jivanji. Nasema kuna mtu amepita. Ndio huko hapo sasa. Twende. Hapana. Nasema na hivi imetupa hapa. Fanya hivi. Iko wengi sana. Kuna na hivi kwa hiyo sasa. Nasema nani?
Yeah. Unless pengine tuzime kwa sababu imekuwa tu sawa tangu asubuhi. Kenyatta Avenue. Kenyatta Avenue. Niko back 2. Backpack 2. Yes. Backpack. Kaje? Vipi?
Agenda. Ayezi. Kwanza kisenda isonge ni 56 ama ni Kongo.
Those are streets from Nairobi's central business district where, as you can see, Kenyans are back on the streets today, continuing with their protests against the Finance Bill 2024, albeit the fact that the president changed his stance on this. And these are the Gen Zs who continue to express their disappointment and unhappiness with President William Ruto's leadership. They have continued to sustain the protests today, and what you can see there are security officers keeping them at bay. And this albeit the fact that President Ruto on Sunday night assured that there would be dialogue that would be held between him and the Gen Zs over the demonstrations that have been happening, and listening really to what it is that they have to say about the current state of the nation. Police are there on the streets, keeping these protesters at bay, even as we continue to see scenes reminiscent of what is happening in Nairobi and other parts of the country. We have seen Mombasa County, we have seen Machakos County, we have seen Kisumu and Eldoret, where scenes that are a replica of what is currently happening here in Nairobi CBD continue to be seen. And according to protesters, they feel that there is yet much that remains to be done as regards the state of affairs in the country, the economic growth, the unemployment levels in the country. Even as the government continues to say that Kenya is at high risk of debt distress, Kenyans continue to express their displeasure on the streets in various parts of the country, with the hashtag Occupy CBD coming before the protest that we're seeing today, being Tuesday. A contingent of security officers also cordoning roads leading to State House, forcing motorists to use alternative routes. And these protests are now entering their third week. The protests being sparked off initially by the Finance Bill 2024, which the National Assembly passed in June. However, President Ruto did bow to increasing pressure and withdrew the bill. Still, the Gen Zs and indeed everybody else that has joined them in marshalling support, all Kenyans from all walks and sizes and ages now joining the clarion call for the government to listen to their concerns. While the unrest may have been sparked by the finance bill, many say that frustrations have continued to grow over the lack of trust and accountability that they feel this government has shown. And so we are continuing to follow up on exactly what is happening, even 2 days after a media roundtable at State House Sunday night, where the president agreed to Gen Z's demands that the only environment that would be comfortable discussing their issues was on X, on the X platform. They have continued to take to the streets. Of course, this invite for dialogue from the president and the Gen Zs on platform X has attracted mixed reactions from the Gen Z. Some have welcomed it, while others have expressed reservations over the same. And that is what we are seeing, with them still taking to the streets and continue to air their displeasure. They continue to take to the streets, this being Tuesday and this being exactly 3 weeks after they started these protests. We continue to see them back on the streets in protests that began with the rejection of the finance bill. The youth say they are unhappy with President William Ruto's leadership and vow to continue with the demos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the pictures on your screens right now are from Waiyaki Way. Let's cross over to the CBD and see what is happening in the Central Business District. There again, heavy police presence and police continuing to keep protesters at bay. Businesses have been affected in parts of the city, as well as public service transport, public service vehicles. Most of them continue to be parked at their bays. Most people have stayed away from the central business district today. Apart from the protesters, businesses remaining closed. And of course, a lot of roads blocked today as the Gen Zs continued to make true their word that they would take to the streets once again. Today they have resumed their Tuesday demonstrations, and we continue to monitor what is happening in parts of the country. Kenyans have also raised concerns over excessive use of force by police officers, as well as recent abductions. And of course, many Kenyans remain under custody. Those who picketed and were seen to have engaged in destruction of public property remain in police custody. And these are some of the concerns that the protesters have raised, saying that some of the abductions are in fact unconstitutional, that most persons that remain in custody were not booked in police stations and cannot be accounted for